everyone, welcome back. Angela here. Good to have you join me again today. Today we're going to have a little finalization of the cover for the THTH Journal. So very excited to share that with you. So I hope that you're going to follow along with me. Now I'm going to go over a couple of things and I'm going to fast forward elements and then put this all together, and hopefully it'll be easier for you to see what it is that you need to do. So the very first thing I wanted to talk about is the cover. Now I'm going to use a manila folder. You can use a cereal box, you know, they have nice broad folds. You can use anything that's that you have on hand. I have this and it's easy for me. I don't eat cereal, so I don't have any cereal boxes, but that would be what I would use if I did. Now I'm going to talk you through a couple of measurements and things here ever so quickly, just so that you know what it is that we are discussing. Now I opened up my manila folder, and on there's a side that's slightly wider than the other. Now that was this side here. So this is the natural crease in the manila folder. So what I've done here is I've made a measurement based on my page. Now remember, I'm using an A4, so you'll need to adjust yours ever so slightly. From there to there, the edge to the edge, we're looking at 9 inches. Okay, so 9 inches in centimeters is 23 centimeters. So that's that side, the width of it. All right, now from the natural folder, the manila folder here, to the edge here, so this way, we are looking at, I've got 6.5 inches. Now you might need to change that if you've got a US letter. So the way I do it, and I'm going to show you with my 2 signatures to gauge the sort of sizing, this equates to 16.5 centimeters. All right, so that's the same on that side and that side. Now the spine, the bit in the middle, this is 2.5 inches. Okay, and that equates to 6.5 or 6.5 centimeters. Okay, so that's from there, that fold line to that fold line. All right, so that's what I've done. I've cut that all out. And now I'm going to use a fabric to cover this over. Now, I'm going to show you the fabric in a moment. Let me just grab you the signatures so you can see what the sizing of this looks like when you are planning your own. All right, I've got my 2 signatures here. We're pretty much almost done with this, almost. And the way I do this is to measure the spine, is to put the signatures into the actual pages itself. Now, if you can see this way, I've got about a 1/2 inch, or like 1/2 inch is about 1.25 centimeters on each side. So once you put it in like that, you can measure about a 1/2 inch on each side of your page. That's going to give you the 9-inch mark or whatever it is that you need. As far as the signature is concerned, you don't want too much of a gator mouth going on here. So when you put your signatures in, you want to sort of make sure that it's your spine here is wide enough. I've gone with 2.5 inches. You might need to make that 2. You might need to increase it and make it 3. It's up to you. So 2.5 inches is 9 centimeters. No, let me think. 6.5 centimeters that way, and obviously it's the same as the others, which is 9 inches. Right, so that's how I do it, like that. Once I put my tie on, then it's not going to be too much of a problem. So the wider you make your spine, the narrower your gator mouth side will be. All right, so that I'm happy with. All right, so that's how I get to that. Let me put those away. Right, now as far as the fabric is concerned, I've got this vintage fabric. It's a bit of a damask pattern. It is upholstery fabric, and I'm going to use this to cover my journal, and I think I showed this to you when we started. So it's beautiful, like a cream and pink sort of color, which it's a peachy pink sort of color, so I quite like it. But go and have a look for anything that appeals to you. You might be doing a spring journal with a kit, you know, so whatever fabric you might want to use. You can use paper as well. You can use wallpaper, whatever you decide to choose. And the way that I work this out is I wanted to get this side on the front, because I'm going to cut, and that on the back. So I'm going to have it like that. That's the back, that's the front of your cover, and you want to put this on the top. Now I have cut an inch, pretty much an inch, all around, wider than the size of my cover. All right, now I'm going to just talk you through how I do this, and then I will finish off how I do this. Now I use Fabri-Tac glue here, or Beacon 3-in-1. That's what I've got in here. It's the best for fabric, and I just use this to glue everything around. Now I will put a link in for the actual method on how I do the fabric cover, so I won't bore you with all those details right now, and the link for that will be in the description box below, or in the playlist that I have for this. So this is the To Have and To Hold journal project, so you will find that playlist link in the description box below the video, or of course on my YouTube channel. All my playlists for all the projects are there. All right, so I'm going to go and stick this down. Remember, I start with this spine first, and I'll meet you back when I've done it all. All right, so I have now glued all of this down, so I hope you've managed to follow along. It can be tricky on the corners, but I've tried to get them as pointed as I could, and this is quite thick fabric. Okay, so if you want for any great tips for that, go and have a look at the video. Right, so I've got that all done, and that's all stuck down now, so I'm happy with that. That's going to be the front, that's going to be the back, and it's just a case of reinforcing those fold lines a little bit there, and really happy with how that looks. All right, so I'm going to just take 2 of my Edith Holden books here just so that I can see where the edge of my actual workability area is, my workable area. That's it. I want to just take one of these little clips here and just grip it to the edge here and here, just so that it keeps it flat. I need to just, you know, get it to take for its shape. All right, so we've got our front there now. Let's just make sure that's in camera. Yep, it is. All right, now I want to do something with this. At first I thought, gosh, it's lovely, and really I was going to just put a book plate on, and that was going to be it, and that would look perfect, especially when you've got a lovely fabric. But I'm actually going to do something with this, so I'm not going to use a book plate, and I had a couple of ideas. So I've got some lace pieces here and various bits that I've had, and this was gifted to me. It's some lovely sort of peachy pink soft tulle, and I love the lace bit on there, and it sort of goes with what I'm doing here. So I thought I'd use a piece of this, and I'm going to just mock it up quickly and show you. Then this is lace I've had. This is antique lace that I've had for the longest time. It was part of somebody's grandmother's old wedding fabrics and bits that she had, and I was very fortunate to get some. So what I thought is, if I can get that like that, and I might need to cut a piece of this off, I think, but we'll assess that in a moment. Put that there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to somehow need to angle that lace. I might cut it, we'll see. Then I'm going to go with a piece of fabric. This is Liberty of London. I've just torn it to give it a bit of frayed edges there. I want a little bit of that. So I'm wanting that to sort of go like this, more or less. Just want a little bit of that pink tulle sticking out at the bottom. And then I'm going to, I've taken this is from Plum Boutique, this. I love that, and I'm going to sort of put that over there with a little bit of that over there. So I'm looking at that as a sort of a base, and then I'm going to make a little frame with one of the images from the kit that I have. I think this one's going to go this way, something like that. I don't know, we'll get to the nitty-gritties in a bit. The other thing I did was I had this sort of this is not vintage, I got this off Amazon. One of these sort of goodies. People use these for all sorts, and the lovely Hilda managed to stick on one of these brooch attachments here, which is going to enable me to put that down at the corner, so it sort of just pretties it all up, and I love how that looks. So that's also something I managed to find. All right, so we're going to, let me just grab this here, sorry. We've got a few other little bits that I'm going to show you how to make a quick frame. We're going to use this image. I'm going to put it in there, something like that, and I'm going to get that sort of in there like that. All right, so that's what we're going to do, and I'll have little bits going on there. So let's just start at the beginning. Right, I think that's sort of all these bits I have sort of sized already. It's just a case of finding the right spot for everything, and then we can take it from there. So let's just pull this back a bit. I'm quite happy where that one is, and I'm going to use my fabric tack, if I can release it, and stick this down at the base. So let's start at the beginning with a bit of that. So I'm going to start with this. It's much easier to work with your cover when you've got it bent in the position, so you can see the edges of it. I'm not too worried about how much glue I get on here, because a lot of it's going to be covered over. So I'm quite happy with this piece like that, and I'm just mindful of the edge of that. So there we go. Let's take that off. I'm going to cut off a piece here because I don't need it to be that long. So let's just cut it off, and I'm just winging this. But you know, that will make some beautiful clusters, so I'll hang on to that. We don't want to use stuff we don't have to use. That's the other thing. So we just want to get some of that stuck down there. And the fabric tack is great for doing that. Okay, the next layer was some lace. So go and grab some. This lace is, it's about 1.5 inches, and I think I want to have it just so that we have a bit of that peeking there. Let's see if that's like that. I think I'm going to just make a 90 degrees angle here. Is that how it sort of goes, or is it this way? I think it's that way, something like that. And we can just glue that down, and then I'm going to cut it off over here somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to stick this down. Right, so I think that's pretty flat, and then I want to turn this over. Rather than cut it and have a bit of a messy situation, I'm going to try this approach, and then stick it, so it's going to be like that, and then probably could have stitched it, and then I'm going to just fold this over and give it a nice corner, and yeah, a little bit further out, I think, actually, like this. Yeah, that's looking good. And then we can just put some glue down here, and also it is a bit of a fiddly situation, isn't it? Working with this, but you know. And there we go. So I think that's looking quite good. All right. Okay, now I've got my little bit Liberty of London fabric here, and I'm going to just get that sort of tucked up there. I just want to see how far this frame, and I'll give you the details for the frame in a moment. Once I've just, don't want to hide too much of that beautiful lace like that. And let's see if this is going to be there. Yes. Okay, so I can actually cut off a bit of this as well. Like that. Okay, This piece of fabric, if I measure it quickly, we are looking at just short of 4.5 inches by 5 inches. So that is 11.5 centimeters by 13. Okay, and I'm going to stick it down just there. And for me, because I don't want to lose the position, and you know, I could have really have saved that lace, but hey ho. And it's so pretty, isn't it? And let's just start with a little bit of this. So we'll get that down like that, and I'm just doing it ever so slowly, like that, and then the same on this side. So, and this Liberty of London fabric it's gorgeous, but it's thin, so you want to be mindful of that. Okay, so we've got our base coming together nicely. Just want to grip this corner here. We can get on with the little frame bit. So this will go over here, this will go over there, and I'm going to move that to the side just for a moment. This is the picture from my ephemera kit. Love that. I did think of using, if you didn't want to have people, this one would also work well with love. And I did even think of putting on the little, although it's got a little frame, I did think of doing this as well at one point. So there are options. I'm going to use this, and I've just printed it from my kit. This piece of paper comes from my spring background kit, but you could use the lace paper, the lacy background pages, anything you want. All right. This one here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.25 inches in length, and 1, 2, 3, 4.5 inches in width. So 8.25 by 4.5. In centimeters, you are looking at 21 centimeters by 11.5. So what I've done is, probably easier to talk from this side, I've folded 1 inch from the right. That's the first thing. I'm going to stick that down. I was going to make this a pocket, so I'm not going to make it a pocket, but you're welcome to make it a pocket if you so wish. I am going to put a tab on here, if I can find one. This is just for show. You can make it a pocket if you want, but I don't think I will be. I'm just going to stick this on there, and I think I'll use that side. So just gluing that together quickly, and then I'm going to just get that sorted. Right, now after you've folded 1 inch in there, then I want you to fold the whole thing in half. All right, so there's that. We're not going to see that. If you're wanting to glue it on the two sides there and there, you will be able to have a pocket where this could slide in and out, but I am not going to do that. I'm going to fix this. All right, I want to add this at the end, and I'm going to see where I need to do it. So this I'm placing sort of slightly away from the sides. You can see where it needs to be by looking at it when you close your frame. Now the way that I made this little frame, nearly forgot to tell you that, I measured 1 centimeter from each side here. Okay, so that would be on the left half of this. So 1 centimeter is, let me tell you, it is 3/4 inch. So 3/4 inch from each side I measured in there to make a framework. You can adjust that to whatever you feel, but that's how I did it. And I cut it out with my I nearly said the carving knife, the crafting knife. Now I'm going to stick this down, and it's just a case of getting it where you want it to be. So I wanted to sort of get those little frameworks in, and then once I've decided where I wanted it, it's a case of taking your pencil, and this is where I wanted it, and I just drew a line there and drew a line there, so I knew where to match it. Now I can pick it up quite happily and put some glue on that. Gosh, everything's jumping around today. And now we can line that up nicely. So I've got my bits there like that. So that's where I drew the lines. Okay, now we can stick this frame down. Before you stick it down, let's take this tab, and I'm going to see where I want that. So I might need to stick it underneath, I think. So we'll get that down, and then we'll stick this. It's just like a faux tab, if I can get it to stand still. And then I'm just checking that I've got my frame where I want it. So this one's not quite stuck down, so I just need some more glue there. There we go. So that's that. There we go. All right, so we've got a little frame, and I have inked around the frame and the inside already. Okay, and there's our faux little tab on the side, which is moving. Okay, I just want to see I've got that straight, have I? All right, so we've got that there. And then while this is out here, I did have 3 little buttons. So there's 1, 2, and 3. These are just my, excuse my glue all over my hands, these are just mother of pearl buttons, and I've just put some embroidery thread and knotted it through there. And I'm going to stick these on. All right, so we've got our little buttons there. Let's get our book back. Let's put that to the side for a minute. Get the cover back here. All right, so everything's looking good, and now we want to put on our little frame. So that's going to go sort of up there, maybe a little bit lower. I'm sort of just centralizing it between this fabric here like that. And then we're going to stick that down. I just want to check before I do it that I've got this where I want it, and I pretty much do, so that's good. Yeah, right, so let's turn this over. Don't touch your buttons yet because they're probably not quite set. And then get this glued on. Now I've been using 160 GSM paper, or 60 pound weight, 60-65. Especially when you're using a frame or something like that, you want something a bit thicker than copier paper. So let's get that on where we want it. So that's going to go over here, and this is when having a book underneath is great because you can press it down. Now I haven't put a film into the frame. You can do that, you know, like an acetate or something. I'm not doing that. Didn't want it to be shiny, so there we go. I've got that in place. So now it's a case of let's put on the lace, and I'm lining it up with this piece here, and then we'll get that stuck down. So get that on. I'm sure you can find lace all over the place. This is stuff that I've collected from for a while now, a few years. But you know, this particular one that I'm gluing down now, this comes from Plum Boutique, and it's beautiful. So go and have a look and see. Vanessa's got the most exquisite lace and ribbons there, and I am an avid buyer. Yeah, I need a support group, Vanessa. This is, you know, right. So we've got that. It's covering the edges, so it all looks finished. So I'm just seeing if I have everything how I want it, and I do. I'm happy with that. Okay, so it's looking very vintagey, but I like it. And now this little piece is just going to finish it off, and I thought, well, let me just clean up those edges. Now just to make sure that these edges aren't going to fray on the ribbon, the lace I should say, I'm just going to put some glue on it, just on the end here, just so that the fabric tack, just so that it hardens and dries and doesn't unravel. And then I'm going to just put some glue where I want this to stick. So there we go, just like that. All right, and then we can get this stuck down just like that, and we just want to make sure that it's pretty even, and I'm happy with that. Okay, so yeah, oops, got glue on the fingers now, of course, as you do. Make sure you get that stuck down well. All right, so let's finish off the rest. Let's just put that to the side. I've got a few bits still to go. 2 little die cuts. This is from the Delicate Leaves, both of these. This is in this aloe vera, and this is this candy floss? I can't remember. I think it's called. Now I want to just tuck that in and put that on the side there. So I'll use my art glitter glue for this. Gosh, my hands are full of glue. I'm so sorry. It looks terrible. Okay, so we want to just get our little delicate leaf thing going. So that's looking great. I like how that's coming together. And then just a few more bits. I've got, these came with my ephemera kit. So it's just some roses, a little rose I've fussy cut from the kit, and one of the little leaves. So I'm going to stick those on quickly as well. Now with the tie over here, I'm waiting on that to arrive with my order. I'm looking for a nice ribbon to go on there, so I think it should be arriving in the next day or two, but I can't put it on today because it's the thing you do last once you've sewn your signatures in and everything, so I don't have that to share with you today. Okay, so we've got that there. That's the little rose as well. Okay, and the last little thing I've got, of course, I've got a little butterfly, and I thought I'd just put them over there like that. And then I think that's about everything I wanted to do to the cover. So we'll put that there like that. Okay, everybody, that's our cover for today. I hope that you've enjoyed it and followed along. I've tried to keep it vintagey looking. And I quite like how it's turned out. As I say, your closure can be loose, it can be fitted with an eyelet. I will do that at the end once I've sewn in all the signatures. I've got this on here, it just needs to do its thing now, and I think that just gives it a finishing touch. So go and have a look for vintage jewelry or beads, or you know, anything. You can pick up quite a few goodies off Amazon as well, and yeah, that's one of them. All right, thank you so much for following along with me today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Go and finish off the cover for your journal now. It won't be long. We will be doing a flip through, but I might just have another project for you on Friday. I'll see as I go through what else it is that I care to put into those signatures. All right, everybody, stay well. Thank you so much for your wonderful comments and support for the lovely Spring Has Sprung journal. Those are still on sale, and I will be replenishing the stock for more printed kits to, I think, on tomorrow, so Wednesday. So I look forward to, I had a few people asking me about that, and gosh, those did go fast. All right, so stay well, and thank you again. You are all amazing, and I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you again on Friday. Bye bye now.